Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's the outcome of the promises you keep to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, even something small like getting up early, going for a run, speaking kindly to yourself, and you actually do it, you start stacking evidence in your own mind that you are someone who can be trusted, someone who follows through. And that is where real self-confidence is born. It's not from waiting around for someone to tell you you're amazing. It's from proving to yourself that you are. A woman who truly believes in her own worth doesn't have to announce it. It shows up in her posture, her smile, her eyes. It's magnetic because it's rare. In a world constantly trying to convince you that you're not enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, not interesting enough, real confidence is an act of rebellion. It's powerful because it says, I choose myself no matter what. And when you show up like that, when you move through the world rooted in your own value, you become the kind of woman that men can't help but notice. The mistake so many people make is thinking confidence is loud. It isn't. True confidence is quiet. It's not about being the center of attention or dominating the conversation. It's about being so grounded in who you are that you don't need external approval to feel validated. It's about walking into a room without needing to be the loudest voice, because you know your energy already speaks volumes. You don't need to oversell yourself. You don't need to overshare. You don't need to prove anything. That's the kind of energy that is irresistible. That's the kind of energy that draws people, including men, to you, without you having to lift a finger. When you focus on building real self-confidence, you stop competing. You stop comparing because you realize that no one else can be you, and that's your superpower. Men are deeply attracted to women who aren't playing the comparison game. They can feel it when a woman is secure in her own lane. She's not trying to outshine other women. She's too busy shining in her own light. That confidence, that sense of inner peace, creates a gravitational pull. It makes a man lean in. It makes him want to invest more of his attention, energy, and affection, because he can feel that being around you elevates him too. Another critical piece of confidence is how you treat yourself when no one is watching. Are you cheering yourself on, or are you tearing yourself down? Men notice how you treat yourself. They can tell if you respect yourself. If you walk around criticizing yourself, apologizing for your existence, second guessing your worth, it leaks out in your energy. But if you carry yourself like someone who knows they bring value to every room, every relationship, every conversation, that's a whole different ball game. That kind of energy says, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, I choose wisely. And trust me, that is the woman who drives a man crazy in the best way. Building confidence also means being comfortable with rejection and failure. It's being willing to go after what you want even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It's trusting that no matter what happens, whether someone chooses you or not, you are still enough. You are still worthy. You are still valuable. A woman who doesn't crumble when she's told no. A woman who smiles and keeps moving because she knows that nothing that's meant for her can miss her. That woman is unstoppable. That woman is unforgettable. Self-confidence isn't about arrogance. It's not about believing you're better than anyone else. It's about believing you have nothing to prove. You already belong. You already matter. You already are valuable. And when you live from that place, you don't just attract love, you attract respect, loyalty, passion, and devotion. You become the woman a man thinks about long after you've left the room. You become the woman he feels grateful to know. You become the standard. Self-confidence is magnetic because it's truth in action. It's your soul showing up unfiltered. And in a world full of people pretending to be someone they're not, authentic confidence is the most beautiful, irresistible thing there is. Emotional intelligence is the secret weapon when it comes to creating a deep, lasting, magnetic connection with a man. It's not about manipulating his feelings or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about truly understanding the language of emotions, yours and his, and being able to navigate that territory with empathy, strength, and awareness. If confidence draws someone in, emotional intelligence is what keeps them there. It's the reason someone feels like they can open up, like they can trust you with parts of themselves they rarely show the world. When you develop emotional intelligence, you don't just listen to a man's words, you listen to the meaning behind them. You pay attention to the small changes in his tone, the tiny pauses, the body language that says more than he knows how to put into sentences. You see when he's pulling away, not because he's lost interest, but because he's scared. You notice when he's being defensive, because he's feeling vulnerable. And you don't react by taking it personally or trying to control him. You respond with curiosity, patience, and compassion. That makes you unforgettable, because most people are too busy reacting to even notice these subtle emotional cues. Men often grow up being taught to suppress emotions, to solve problems, to be strong and stoic. But inside, they still crave the safety of being truly seen and accepted without judgment. When you bring emotional intelligence into your relationship, you give him that safety. You become the rare woman who can meet him where he is emotionally without trying to fix him or shrink herself. You don't shame him for his struggles. You don't demand that he just open up on your timeline. You allow him the space to unfold naturally, knowing that trust once earned is stronger than anything forced. Being emotionally intelligent also means being aware of your own triggers. It's recognizing when your fear, your insecurity, or your old wounds are coloring the way you're seeing him. Instead of flying off the handle, shutting down, or playing games, you choose self-awareness. You pause, you breathe, you ask yourself, what am I feeling? What is he actually showing me? You own your part of the emotional dance instead of blaming or trying to control him. That level of maturity is magnetic because it shows that you're not looking for him to fix you or complete you. You're already whole, and you're inviting him to meet you at that level. Emotional intelligence isn't about always being calm or emotionless. It's about knowing that emotions are information, not enemies. If you feel jealousy, anger, or sadness, you don't push it down or pretend it's not there. You acknowledge it. You explore it. You communicate from it in a way that builds bridges instead of walls. You use "I feel" statements rather than accusations. You let your vulnerability be a strength rather than a weakness. You show him through your actions that it's safe for him to do the same. One of the most powerful things you can do with emotional intelligence is help a man feel like a winner without having to diminish yourself. When you recognize his efforts, when you celebrate his growth, when you affirm his character, not just his achievements, you activate something deep inside him. You're not just admiring what he does, you're seeing who he is. And when a man feels seen like that, he naturally wants to give more, love harder, invest deeper, not because he's being manipulated, but because he feels inspired, he feels respected, he feels honored. You also learn how to set boundaries with love. Emotional intelligence teaches you that protecting your heart and your peace doesn't require cruelty or drama. You can say no without anger. You can walk away from disrespect without bitterness. You can speak your truth clearly and firmly, and the right man will respect you even more for it. You don't use silent treatment, ultimatums, or emotional blackmail. You choose clarity, honesty, and kindness, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Ultimately, emotional intelligence is about connection, real, raw, honest connection. It's about holding space for another person's humanity while never abandoning your own. It's about seeing not just the surface, but the soul. And when you bring that kind of emotional depth to your relationships, you don't just make a man crazy in love with you. You inspire him to rise, to trust, to invest, to cherish you in ways that shallow attraction could never sustain. Emotional intelligence doesn't just win his attention, it wins his loyalty, his respect, and his heart. The moment you understand that you are the prize, everything changes. You stop operating from a place of scarcity. You stop trying to earn love, chase attention, or prove your worth. You move differently, you speak differently, and you show up differently because deep down you know your value isn't up for negotiation. Being the prize means you don't have to run after anything or anyone. You are the reward, you are the experience, you are the upgrade. Too many women exhaust themselves chasing validation, thinking if they just say the right thing, wear the right outfit, play the right game, then maybe, just maybe, he'll see their value, but that's backward. Attraction is not built through desperation. It's built through presence. It's built through the energy you carry when you know you bring something rare and real to the table. When you operate as the prize, you aren't worried about how fast someone chooses you because you are focused on choosing yourself first. You know that the right person will recognize what you offer without you having to jump through hoops to prove it. Being the prize doesn't mean you act superior. It doesn't mean you look down on others. It means you live in a state of quiet certainty. You don't chase, because what is meant for you will never require you to abandon your dignity to claim it. You set the standard by the way you treat yourself. You show people how to value you by how you value yourself. That starts with your boundaries, your self-respect, and your unwavering refusal to settle for anything less than what you know you deserve. A woman who believes she is the prize invests in herself first. She doesn't wait for someone else to complete her. She chases her dreams, not people. She nurtures her passions, not just her appearance. She stays busy building a life she loves, not sitting around waiting for a text or an invite. And that is magnetic. A man who is truly worth your time doesn't want to be your entire world. He wants to be a part of your already beautiful, vibrant, thriving world. He wants to feel that he is lucky to be chosen by you, not that you are desperate to be chosen by him. When you see yourself as the prize, you naturally become more selective. You don't entertain half-hearted efforts. You don't settle for crumbs. You aren't afraid to walk away from situations that don't honor your worth. You trust that rejection is simply redirection to something better. You understand that being alone and at peace is infinitely better than being with someone who makes you question your value. And that quiet confidence becomes a force. Men feel it when they are around you. They know they can't play games with you. They know they have to step up or step out. The prize mentality also changes how you communicate. You are clear, not confusing. You are assertive, not aggressive. You express your needs without fear of scaring someone away because you know that the right person will never be intimidated by your standards. They will be inspired by them. You don't manipulate, you don't beg. You simply embody what you expect, and you trust that the right one will rise to meet you. There is a powerful difference between attracting someone and convincing someone. Attraction happens naturally when your energy is aligned with your self-worth. Convincing happens when you are disconnected from it. When you live like you are the prize, you don't have to chase or convince because the right man will see you clearly. He will recognize your worth without you having to spell it out. He will pursue you, invest in you, and prioritize you because he understands that being in your life is a privilege, not a favor. Ultimately, being the prize is about mindset. It's about showing up every day knowing that your value isn't determined by who stays or who goes. It's about refusing to shrink yourself for the comfort of others. It's about elevating your life so much that love becomes a beautiful addition, not a desperate need. When you embody this, men don't just want to be around you, they feel honored to be chosen by you. They feel challenged to be better, to give more, to love deeper. Not because you demanded it, but because your very existence inspired it. Perfection is a myth, and chasing it is a trap that keeps you disconnected from what actually builds deep, lasting love. Authenticity is what truly captures a man's heart and soul. It's not about presenting the version of yourself that you think is most lovable. It's about having the courage to show up exactly as you are. Not the polished, curated version, not the edited, filtered one, but the real, raw, vibrant, sometimes messy version that actually lives and breathes underneath all the expectations you've absorbed from the world. When you are authentic, you create a space where real connection can happen. You aren't hiding behind a mask, and because of that, you invite others to take off theirs too. A man doesn't fall in love with a performance. He falls in love with the parts of you that feel genuine, that surprise him, that remind him of his own humanness. When you stop trying to be perfect, you actually become more captivating, because there's nothing more attractive than someone who is comfortable in their own skin. Perfection creates pressure, and pressure kills connection. If you are always trying to say the right thing, look the right way, react the right way, you aren't being present, you're performing, and people can feel it. They may not know exactly what's wrong, but they'll feel that something is off, something is disconnected. Authenticity, on the other hand, feels like a breath of fresh air. It tells a man, you can relax around me, you can be yourself around me. That's what creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is the soil where obsession and deep devotion grow. When you choose authenticity over perfection, you give yourself permission to be seen, truly seen, and that's vulnerable. It can feel scary because it means showing the parts of yourself that you might usually hide. The dreams you're afraid are too big, the fears you usually tuck away, the weird quirks you think no one would understand. But it's exactly those things that make you memorable. It's exactly those things that make a man think, there's no one else like her. Men aren't looking for a woman who has it all figured out. They are looking for someone who is real, someone who is alive. The woman who is okay with laughing too loudly at her own jokes. The woman who admits when she's nervous. The woman who says what she feels instead of playing a script. Authenticity feels risky, but it builds unbreakable bonds because it offers something rare, truth. In a world full of fakeness and filters, the truth stands out like a beacon. Another piece of this is knowing that being authentic doesn't mean being reckless or insensitive. It means expressing yourself with self-awareness and love. It means you don't pretend to like things you don't. You don't pretend to agree when you disagree. You don't pretend you're okay when you're not, but you share those things with grace, with respect for yourself and for others. Authenticity is grounded, not chaotic. It's rooted in a deep acceptance of who you are, flaws and all. When you embrace your realness, you also give the relationship a chance to breathe. You're not setting up unrealistic expectations that you'll never have a bad day, never get frustrated, never need space, never mess up. You're setting the tone from the beginning that this relationship is built on something real. And that's what allows love to deepen over time, instead of crumbling the moment perfection cracks under pressure. It's easy to get caught in the idea that you have to be perfect, to be loved, perfect body, perfect career, perfect attitude, but real love isn't looking for perfection. Real love is looking for resonance. A man falls crazy in love with a woman whose spirit feels alive to him. A woman who feels like home, not a museum. A woman he can laugh with, dream with, cry with, and grow with. That doesn't come from perfection. That comes from the courage to be yourself. Authenticity builds trust, because when you show up as you are, consistently, A man knows he's falling for the real you, not an illusion. He doesn't have to worry that one day the mask will fall off and reveal someone he doesn't recognize. He can relax into the relationship, invest in it fully because the foundation is real. That kind of love is rare. That kind of love is priceless, and it starts with choosing to be yourself unapologetically and proudly every single day. There is something profoundly powerful about mystery. Not confusion, not games, but genuine mystery, the art of not putting everything on the table at once. Mystery leaves space for curiosity to grow. It invites someone to lean in instead of feeling like they already have you all figured out. When you cultivate an air of mystery, you create an ongoing story instead of handing over the final chapter before the book even gets good. Mystery isn't about being secretive or dishonest. It's about understanding that depth is revealed over time, not all at once. It's about resisting the urge to overshare your whole life in the first few conversations. It's understanding that real intimacy is built layer by layer, not dumped out all at once like a puzzle spilled onto a table. When you hold a little bit back, not because you're hiding, but because you honor the process, you become infinitely more intriguing. You give a man the opportunity to discover you in a way that feels exciting, not overwhelming. When you are mysterious, you are unpredictable in the best way. You don't always say yes. You aren't always available at a moment's notice. You don't tell him every single thing you're doing, thinking, or feeling. You allow there to be pauses and silences that are filled with wonder, not anxiety. A man should be wondering about you. He should be curious about what you're thinking, where your mind is wandering, what your dreams are made of. That curiosity is fuel. It keeps the connection alive and crackling with energy. Mystery also lies in the way you live your life outside of him. When your world is full, when you have passions, goals, friendships, adventures that are yours and yours alone, you automatically create mystery. He sees that you are your own person, not someone waiting for him to complete your existence. He realizes that he has to work to earn a deeper place in your life, because your life is already rich and meaningful without him. That sense of independence is magnetic. It creates a challenge, a chase, a deeper investment. One of the biggest mistakes people make is rushing to fill every quiet moment, answer every text instantly, explain every move they make. But mystery is built in the spaces. It's built when you don't always give immediate access. It's built when you don't immediately unpack every thought you have. It's built when you let a little silence be okay. Silence isn't distance. Silence can be a powerful invitation. It makes him wonder. It makes him remember that you are a whole world he still hasn't fully explored. Mystery also thrives in emotional restraint. It doesn't mean being cold or detached. It means that you don't lay all your emotions at his feet every time you feel something. You know how to hold your center. You know how to process your own feelings without making him responsible for soothing every insecurity or solving every fear. That emotional independence makes you mysterious because it shows strength. It shows that while you may want him, you don't need him to complete you. There is a sweet spot between being open and being mysterious. You share enough to create a connection, but you save the deepest parts of yourself for the man who earns it. You let your heart be known slowly, deliberately. You invite him to step closer, but you never drag him in. That invitation, that subtle pull, is irresistible because it respects both you and him. It respects the journey of falling in love as something sacred, not rushed. Mystery keeps desire alive. It keeps the dance between two people exciting. When a man feels like there is still more to discover about you, even after weeks, months, years, he stays engaged, he stays invested, he stays intrigued. Relationships lose their spark not because people change, but because they stop being curious about each other. Mystery makes sure the curiosity never dies. When you embody mystery, you live with the knowledge that your soul is a galaxy, not a postcard. You don't reveal it all at once. You allow him the privilege of discovering you star by star, constellation by constellation. And every time he thinks he's mapped your skies, he finds there's even more beauty waiting to be seen. That's the kind of mystery that drives a man crazy in love with you, the kind that makes him feel like he could spend a lifetime exploring you and still never reach the end. There is a powerful balance that few master, but that absolutely magnetizes the right man to you, a combination of high standards and a warm heart. Having high standards doesn't mean you're rigid, cold, or unapproachable. It means you know what you deserve and you're not afraid to expect it. It means you don't lower the bar to accommodate anyone's potential. You hold it steady because you trust that the right person will meet you there. And your warmth makes it easy for someone to want to reach that level because they feel inspired, not judged. A woman with high standards doesn't accept half effort. She doesn't entertain inconsistency. She doesn't fall for empty promises or let potential override reality. Her standards are not based on superficial checklists like income or status. They are rooted in deep values: respect, integrity, consistency, emotional availability, kindness, ambition. She knows that how someone treats her is not an accident. It's a reflection of how they truly feel. And she does not make excuses for poor behavior because she honors herself too much to settle for anything less than genuine, sustained effort. But having high standards without warmth can come across as defensive, guarded, or even bitter, and that's why the warmth matters so much. Your warmth shows that while you expect the best, you also give the best. You are kind, approachable, compassionate, and nurturing. You don't demand respect with an iron fist. You inspire it through your presence. You don't push people away with coldness. You invite the right ones in with your open-heartedness. You lead with strength, but you soften the space around you so that love can actually grow. A warm-hearted woman smiles often, listens deeply, and expresses gratitude easily. She laughs without restraint and shows affection without fear. She gives genuine compliments, supports the dreams of others, and brings comfort simply by being herself. Her energy feels like home, but here's the key: she doesn't lose herself in giving. She doesn't betray her standards in the name of being nice. She knows that her kindness is a gift, not a transaction. It's not something she uses to win someone over. It's something she shares because it's who she is, and she's wise enough to reserve it for those who are worthy of it. High standards and warmth work together to create something rare, a woman who is both a sanctuary and a challenge. A man feels safe with her, but he also feels called to be his best self. He knows he can be vulnerable, but he also knows he has to show up fully. He's not afraid of losing her because of petty games. He's aware that if he doesn't honor her, he will lose her because she knows her worth too well to stay where she's not valued. When you operate from this balance, you make it clear that you are not looking for perfection, but you are looking for real effort. You don't expect a man to have it all figured out, but you expect him to try, to grow, to communicate, to be accountable. You don't punish mistakes, but you don't tolerate repeated disrespect. You are forgiving but not foolish. You are open but not naive, and that makes you irresistible because you offer something so few do. Love that is pure and strong, acceptance that is unconditional but not blind. High standards ensure that you don't waste your energy on people who drain you. Warmth ensures that you don't become so guarded that you push away people who would genuinely love you. Together, they create a gravitational pull that is undeniable. Men who are serious, intentional, and emotionally mature are drawn to you because they recognize the rare value you bring. You are not just another pretty face. You are a woman of substance, a woman who is both soft and solid, tender and unshakable. You don't have to announce your standards to the world, you live them. You don't have to beg someone to meet them. You hold them silently, consistently, beautifully. And you trust that the ones meant for you will rise, not because you forced them to, but because your very presence inspired them to become more of who they are capable of being. That is how you build not just attraction, but deep respect, admiration, and ultimately the kind of crazy, devoted love that lasts. Love does not thrive in chaos, it flourishes in safety. Emotional safety is the unseen foundation that makes a man fall not just in love, but deeply, obsessively, faithfully in love. When a man feels emotionally safe with you, you are no longer just someone he likes, you become someone he cannot imagine his life without. Emotional safety means he feels free to be his full self with you, to show his strengths and his weaknesses without fear of being judged, belittled, or abandoned. Creating emotional safety doesn't mean you are responsible for someone else's feelings. It means you create a space where honesty is welcomed, vulnerability is respected, and authenticity is celebrated. It means when he opens up to you about his fears, his dreams, or his struggles, you listen without immediately trying to fix, criticize, or compete. You don't weaponize his vulnerabilities later in arguments. You don't shame him for moments of weakness. You hold the space. You show him that he can be human around you without losing your respect. Men are often taught to hide their emotions, to be tough, to suppress what they feel. When you offer emotional safety, you offer something rare and healing. You become the one place in the world where he doesn't have to perform, where he doesn't have to be perfect, where he can just be. And that is powerful. When a man feels that kind of peace with you, he will bond to you on a level that physical attraction alone can never create. He will crave your presence because it feels like home to him, not another battlefield. Building emotional safety starts with your own emotional maturity. You regulate your own emotions first. You communicate your needs calmly and clearly, not through guilt trips, tantrums, or silent treatments. You take ownership of your feelings and don't expect someone else to guess what's going on inside you. You listen more than you speak sometimes, and when you speak, you do it with kindness and clarity. You seek to understand, not just to be understood. Trust is built moment by moment through consistency. Emotional safety grows when words and actions match, when promises are kept, and when mistakes are addressed with honesty, not defensiveness. If you want a man to feel safe being real with you, you have to show him that honesty will not cost him love. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or accept bad behavior. It means you deal with issues without making the other person feel like their entire worth is on trial. You attack the problem, not the person. Being a safe place emotionally doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. In fact, clear boundaries enhance emotional safety because they create predictability. He knows what is acceptable and what isn't. He doesn't have to guess where the landmines are. He knows that if he messes up, you'll address it openly and fairly, not with passive aggression or sudden emotional withdrawal. Emotional safety doesn't eliminate conflict. It changes the way conflict is handled. Arguments don't become wars, they become opportunities to understand each other better. Validation plays a key role in creating emotional safety. You don't have to agree with everything he says or feels, but you acknowledge his right to feel it. You don't dismiss his emotions with phrases like "you're overreacting" or "that's stupid." You respect that his internal experience is real to him, even if it's different from yours. And in turn, he learns that you are someone he can trust with his real thoughts and feelings, not just the polished, socially acceptable ones. The more emotionally safe he feels with you, the deeper his love will grow. Emotional safety turns initial attraction into deep emotional investment. It makes him think about forever, not just tonight. It makes him prioritize you because he knows how rare it is to find someone who loves not just the good parts of him, but all parts. It inspires him to be better because he feels supported, not shamed. It makes him want to protect what he has with you because it feels like sacred ground. When you embody emotional safety, you become unforgettable. You become the woman he brags about, dreams about, and builds his future around. Not because you were perfect, not because you played every game right, but because you offered something so profound. A love that embraced his humanity, a relationship that felt like freedom, a connection that made him stronger, not smaller. Emotional safety is everything. It is the magic that transforms love from fleeting to forever.